Quick audio check on the stream. Quick audio check on the stream. We're going to make sure that this is coming through both headphones as well as sounding good. So we should be streaming. We should be live. Yep, there we go. Quick audio check on the stream. We're going to make sure that this is coming through. Yay, it's coming through both ears. All right. Headphones. Sweet. As well. Going live in 3 minutes. Sounding good. So we should be streaming. Hello, hello, hello. I am excited for today as we got a little bit of Leaf talk coming up. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a good time, I hope, as the Leaf season hasn't been so good. Well, taking a little turn lately if you're, not following along with the season as it's gone, as it has been up and down. And yeah, that's been part of the reason there has been many Leaf talk so far this year. A big thing going forward is can this team be good? How good have they been? Well, their record so far on the season, to be exact, 19, 15, and 6. And if you want me to do the math on that, they're 19 and 21 in just pure win-loss. But things could get better, and things have been getting better lately. There's a lot to get into, but before that, we'll talk about some future plans here. 2026, it plans... If I know how to talk. Okay, we're going to get into some stuff not about the Leafs here, as we're going to talk about 2026 and my plans with the year and how excited I am for content and how much more free time I'm going to have. And so keep your eye on this channel. If you're going to subscribe, make sure you hit the bell icon, like the videos, just so make sure it pops up in your algorithm as much as possible, because there's going to be lots more coming on. And it's going to be mostly from me, as again, if you want to hear from the Thode side of Calling's Thode Network, you're going to want to go over to njthockey.com. I'm pretty sure it's .com, but either way, you want to head over to NJT Hockey. That's where all the articles, any written bits are at. If you want to listen to yapping, well, this right here, this is your space for that. As yeah, we're going to be talking about all things Toronto today, Toronto Maple Leafs today. We'll do Raptors on other days, Blue Jays, of course, and then the Carolina Panthers, who, wow, am I excited to talk about that game tomorrow. We're going to do a little preview, so that's going to be live roughly 3:45, round 4, just before the game goes on. So you're not going to want to miss that, as I will be losing my mind. I am so nervous, so we'll see. We'll see. But today we have the Leafs to get into, as we're going to try to focus on them a lot more moving forward. I mean, them having a little stretch here where they've been, I mean, it's in their last 5 games, which you've maybe read on the bottom of the screen there, we're 4-0-1, 4-1, but we'll take that OT loss against the Red Wings. Would have liked a win there, but regardless, we're still in it. And talking about the playoffs, the standings, we are just behind the Panthers, who are just behind the Sabres, who are 10-0 in their last 10. Don't know how that happened, but they're in the playoffs. So the Leafs right now are 2 points out of a playoff spot. So I call it a grueling season, and it's been tough so far. It has not been easy, but, you know, maybe the ship is being righted. Part of me likes to think so. So I guess that's the first thing we'll talk about the season so far, how I felt about it as a Leaf fan. And it's been one of those seasons, of course, the departure of Mitch Marner, and the offense has been sluggish, we'll say. It's been tougher. Lately, it's been nice, but it was a tough early season to get into as a fan, especially when the Raptors started playing well. It was really easy to overlook this Toronto team, and they were giving reasons to overlook them. They were not good to start the season, and I've got the game log pulled up here, and I've highlighted every single game that was a loss. And looking at the early season, woo, that's a lot more yellow than there is just non-highlighted. But then lately, we've had 2 good runs lately. 2 runs of being 4-0-1, and that has really been helping us get back in the points, really in the standings. It was November 26th to December 4th was win, shootout, loss. No, that was win, loss, win, 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 shootout, loss, win. So that was an even better stretch than we're on right now. That's if I'm not mistaken, that's a 1-1 stretch, which I would welcome that right now, as lately in the last 5, again on the bottom of the screen, we beat Pittsburgh, Ottawa, Detroit, New Jersey, and Winnipeg lately. That Winnipeg win especially, what a win! Did not see that coming. I had definitely given up on that game, and especially given the injuries and wow, talking about the season so far, you can't not talk about injuries, as I'm sure you're seeing on the bottom of the screen, reading by if you're following along with the ticker. But Stolarz, Carlo, Tanev, and Dakota Joshua all on injured reserve, with William Nylander on day-to-day, and of course Dakota Maramis. He's been on injured reserve all season. It's been a grueling season. It's been a long season for these Leafs, and we have some depth, but it's definitely not been enough to carry us over the hump. And yet lately, it's been the depth that has been showing signs of life. That last game, especially against Winnipeg, no Matthews, Tanev, Carlo, Nylander, all the major contributors gone, and we still got the big win. That's huge for this team, and again, showing signs of life. One of the big things that I actually really like is not firing Berube, which we will get into later, but it's staying true. That's the strength, that's signs of life that I like to see, is that they're holding strong with this identity, the Leafs core that they have, and I feel like starting to pay off just that little bit more here, as again, a little bit of winning. It changes everything as a Leaf fan for how I think about this team. Again, we were on a 3-game losing streak heading into our latest stretch here, and during that 3-game losing streak, it really felt like, wow, this is bad. I remember it was Christmas, and my aunt came up. She's a big Philadelphia fan, and I was telling her about how the Leafs don't have their own first this year. That's going to Boston, and they don't have their first the year after. That's going to Philadelphia. I was talking with my brother. I think we have like 2 picks this year, and that's immediately where my head was going. Oh, let's think about the draft. Let's think about the offseason. That's been the kind of season so far, but hey, we will take winning 4 games in the last 5. That's huge. That is the signs of life I'm liking. But wow, this has been tough. I mean, the scoring again, Matthews hat trick. Bobby McMahon's been actually lighting the lamp lately. That's kind of strange to see. That's nice. It's a good change of pace. I would love for him to be a 20-goal scorer again, but wishful thinking. I want to start thinking about the playoffs again. I want to start thinking about these things. It's just tough with these Leafs because every time I do watch them, I'm frustrated because it feels like they don't care enough. They've been better for that lately, especially that last game against Winnipeg when they had none of the stars. Guys like Max Domi stepped up huge, and John Tavares quietly been fantastic this season as, you know, the old man on the Leafs. He took that contract, what is it, discount, which, you know, crazy still that we ended up with that. A lot of Leafs fans were theorizing that it was going to take $7 million. And so it's paying off huge. It's just we need the rest of the team. A big thing for me too, and in moments like this, is talking about leadership. And I looked into it. Nick Kypreos, he called out Matthews for his leadership. But that's been about it. No Leafs have come out and said, oh, this isn't working. Nothing's come out about Matthews not being a good leader. There's been no rumors about it. When you look up Matthews' leadership, there's only good things. And I don't think him having the C is bad, per se. Maybe it's too much responsibility, so he's not been able to be as loose as he has been before and score goals. Maybe. But that's all a mental thing. That is all speculation. That literally means nothing. What I do know is he's scoring again lately, and I also know that Berube plays him in such a interesting strategy. Saw this on Twitter here as we're talking about leadership, and Austin Matthews in particular, is that in seasons gone by with a coach like Sheldon Keefe, we played Matthews about 30 to 36% of the time against the top level opponents. He's a good defensive forward, but of course his forte is that goal scoring. Under Sheldon Keefe, he was that 69 goal scorer with us. Since Berube's come in, I'm pretty sure it's 40%, and now it's been 45%, and this season so far has been 46% of the time. The last season with Keefe was that 40%, and then last year with Berube was 45%, this year's 46%. Matthews, almost half the time, is playing against some of the best competition the other team has to offer. And if you're trying to score goals to win games and outpace these teams, that's not how you do it. And I don't know what the stats for that are lately, but Matthews has been scoring again. That leads me to believe he is no longer facing off against the top of the top. And that has only come with one coaching change. Berube has not left. Berube is not gone. Of course, that was Marc Savard, the power play coach that got fired. Long overdue. But we'll see moving forward this season and last season how Matthews is responding to the C. I think it's been great. I don't question that. What I question is the rest of the group. Of course, looking at the lines for the Maple Leafs, we've got guys like, of course, Austin Matthews, our 1C, the captain. John Tavares, the former captain. And then from there, I don't know. I question it. It's a lot of young guys. I question guys like Bobby McMahon, Max Domi, like their leadership. They're not young guys per se, but like Matthew Knies, Maselli, Robertson, Cowan, I don't expect them to be leaders. That's not their role. And then that leaves you with the Nicholas Waugh, Scott Laughton, Lorentz, and Yarncrook in the forward group. And it's like, we're not drawing leadership from there. Maybe with Waugh and Laughton, they're tough. They play hockey, the right way. I like how they play, but it's not where we're drawing leadership. And on the back end, don't get me started on the back end. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, former captain, but the rest of these guys, Troy Stetcher, actually. I like Troy Stetcher. He hustles. He plays hard. What a fun defenseman. But our top line is Morgan Riley and Myers. What are we doing? I mean, it's not Tyler Myers either. He's no good, but it's Philip Myers. I mean, Jake McCabe I like, but I would like a guy next to him that is not Oliver Ekman-Larsson, someone a little better. Again, Carlo, Tanev not being in the lineup. It hurts. It really does. I mean, we're seeing it. with this defensive group, but it's been better lately, I guess. They're starting to gel. I'm allergic to this defense group, though. It's not something I've enjoyed watching very much so, especially as the game slows down, we get in our own end, and it's not panic per se. It's just like a lack of talent in the sense of the word of offenses are able to score a lot against us. Looking at these last games, even the games we've won, I mean, other than the Devils, who are coached by Sheldon Keefe, so I'm not expecting them to do much here. Every other team, Winnipeg scored 5, Ottawa scored 5, Pittsburgh scored 3, New Jersey, they scored 3 in a win. Before that, it was Dallas scoring 5, Nashville scoring 5, Washington scoring 4. In losses before that, Edmonton scored 6. It's been a lot, and that's been the main issue. And whether that be the injuries to both the goalies and the defense, Wall has missed time, Stolarz has been out almost the entire season. Hildeby's trying his best, but he's Dennis Hildeby. What more can you expect out of him? I mean, a good season so far for Dennis Hildeby. It's just been like, it's been tough. In his last 3 outings, he's lost 3 in a row with a 4.70. I think he won his last game because that's not updated to the most recent. But it's been a tough stretch. Let's just say that. But things can improve. Again, signs of life. Woll is back. He's getting huge shutouts. I mean, that was a huge shutout win over the Devils. That's a confidence booster right there. Moving into another win after that. I like what I'm seeing, but I don't love it. And watching this team is more frustrating than satisfying most of the time. So that's kind of been my qualms. If we got a real, like, I don't even know. It's not like there's any wingers that you could bring in that are a hot fix for this team. I mean, they are missing Nylander when I go through the lines here. Him being day-to-day sucks. The defense, I miss Tanev. Tanev is that leadership I feel like this team is missing. And it's not like a vocal thing. I'm not saying like leadership in the locker room. I'm more saying like on ice, I can see it. You can see it when we watch hockey. You can see a guy is a leader on the ice. And that's what they're missing. So Tanev's coming back some point, hopefully this season. It's worrying. The last thing we've known here from Jonas Siegel on December 31st said that he is to miss an extended period of time. So, yeah, that's not good. So, that's one of your main leaders out. I mean, Carlo, we'll see what he could do if and when he comes back. Let's see, the most recent on Carlo, again, successful foot surgery, but out indefinitely. Like, these guys, we just got to hope they're back for the playoffs. If anything, that is worrisome. It's been so worrisome. So, I don't know what you could do because this team is so tied up in the cap. They don't have any money. Like, you got to shift around a ton of assets if you're making trades. We don't have picks. It's a very stagnant position. I don't envy Tree Living, but again, he's got a track record. We'll leave it at that, and we'll talk about a decision that Tree Living made, and I respect it, which is to protect Berube and say that he is safe for the job, because I am a Berube fan. I was a fan of Babcock's hockey, and then when all the extracurricular, extra personal stuff came out, you hate the guy. How could you not hate the guy? Even though he was a good coach, you have to hate him. Because, I mean, there's a reason that why Babcock's Leaf teams weren't more successful, and that's because he was self-sabotaging them. I pray Berube is not doing that from all things I read about. He's not. From all things I read about, he's a normal, hard-nosed, blue-collar coach. I'm good with that. I like that. I think that is what this team needs. It needs slightly more freedom. I will put that on Berube completely. He is a little too structured in his offensive schemes. And in the way he plays Austin Matthews, he's trying to use him too much so as a defensive defenseman, as like a Philip Deneau type when he is Austin Matthews. Let's get him opening up more on offense, and let's stop forcing him to spend himself more on defense. Okay, the main problem with that too, looking at the Leafs lines, is who is going to match up against the other team's best players. If it's not going to be Austin Matthews, is it going to be John Tavares, who, let's keep in mind, is 35 years old? Is it going to be Matthew Nyes? No. Is it going to be Nylander? No. I don't really expect. I mean, I guess that's Scott Laughton and Waugh's job. And that's tough because look at who those guys play with. You're really going to put Waugh, Nick Robb, and Easton Cowan against the best competition out there? It's an unenviable position, but I'm just, from a coach's perspective, given as many advantages as you can to your best players. Matthews needs to be in a better position. So those are my only things, my qualms with Berube. But reading about what Treliving is saying here, off of the question, will that support for Berube last if the team does not improve in the near future? And Treliving said, I'm not going to get into hypotheticals of what happens with this. We've got a good coach. We've got to continue to make our team better. We've got areas that we've got to get better in. It's not lost on us where the team is at. We live it every day. But I think we've got a real good coach. I like that. And that's not to say we don't change some things, tweak some things. Fired Mark Savard. We've done that over the course of the last couple weeks. When you get in these situations, to me, Treliving, you have to band together and you look for collective solutions. And that's what we're trying to do. I like that statement. I like that quote. It's a great quote. And that doesn't feel like a cop-out quote. He understands that it's been a tough season, but he is saying that we are going to make changes, small ones, but stick together with this group because he likes this group. And I like this group from last year's playoffs. I mean, we made it farther than I've ever seen the Leafs make it, as sad as that is. So I like him, band together. Now, they would continue on here, because this was before we had to pass 7 teams to get into the second wild card. It's not that bad anymore. I think we're now at 3 teams. But this quote worries me. He said, he as in Treliving, he said, I don't think we're turning the page right now on the season. Huh? What? What are we? And then they went into firing Savard. It was a change we could make. Never fun decisions to make or fun days. Not putting the blame solely on Mark Savard's feet. We need to be better on areas. And then that's kind of where the quotes end for me. But I'm just so alarmed by the quote of, I don't think we're turning the page. There's 2 things he can mean by that. One is that he thinks that this team is going to continue to struggle. And no way is that what I think he means. 2 is that he thinks this team has always been a good team and there's no quote-unquote page turning, when it's more so righting the ship. But that's the same thing. I guess he's more so trying to say that they're not trying to change. They're more so just trying to strengthen their own game. I don't know. That's me trying to interpret that quote because that is an alarming quote. It's a bad look. So yeah, that's all I really got to say about Berube. I like him being part of the Leafs. I like that he is our coach still. And, we'll take this chance to take a little peek towards the playoff before we sign out as our first episode of 2026. So, looking at the standings here for the Eastern Conference. Sorry, I'm not getting into the West. We will. We'll hop into the West, actually. So, in the West, the Central is the Avalanche, the Stars, and the Wild, who are the best teams in hockey. Every single one of those teams would lead all the conferences other than their own, as 55 points for the Wild is the 3rd highest in all of hockey. The Stars 57, 2nd highest. The Avalanche are 32-7. Every year we have a new team that's on pace to be the best of all time. It is crazy to me. The Jets are in last in the Central. They've completely fallen off. And then looking over at the Pacific, the Oilers are in 1st. The Golden Knights are in 2nd, and the Ducks are in 3rd. And looking at the playoffs, it is going to be the Sharks and either the Kraken or the Mammoth, depending on how the tiebreaker shakes out. That's exciting. I love that. I love the Ducks, Sharks being in the playoffs. That's so much fun. Young teams on the rise. Lots of Canadians on those teams as well. I'm a big fan of McTavish on the Ducks. He's, our Canadian guy. So we like that. And then the Mammoth getting into the playoffs, I really want to see that happen. That'd be so much fun. Predators turning it around. The Blues, not so much. And then looking over at the Pacific, the Canucks, Flames, Kings, all disappointing. Just not good seasons for them. So now we'll hop over to the other conference here as we are looking at the Atlantic Division, led by the Detroit Red Wings. I'm shocked by this, like forever shocked by this. The fact that they're 24-14-3, 52 points ahead of the Lightning in second, not shocked by that. 24-13-3, 51 points in 2 less games. Most likely the Lightning will jump up into first here, and I would be surprised if the Lightning didn't take the Atlantic Division this year. But we'll see how that pans out. As behind them are the Canadiens and then the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres are 10-0 in their last 10 games. After firing their GM that built the team, I don't know. This hockey management thing seems difficult. And then behind them then are the Panthers, Leafs, Bruins, and Senators. So the Leafs at 44 points are 2 behind the Sabres at 46. Chance we pass them. If we pass the Sabres, we are in that wild card spot. As looking over at the Metro, the wild card is the Capitals at 47 and Sabres at 46. And then behind that is then the Panthers out of the playoffs at 45. Penguins out of the playoffs at 45. Leafs, Bruins, Devils all at 44. So it's going to be tight. And then, of course, leading the Metro is Carolina, New York Islanders, and then the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't know. We live in a bizarre world. This has been a season and a half, both in the NFL and NHL and NBA so far. Nothing has made sense. Any predictions you had are not coming true, and I mean, I'm seeing it right here. Rangers second last, they're doo-doo. The Blue Jackets were frauds last year, I think, unfortunately. But the Islanders and the Flyers both being in this spot, it's pretty cool. Of course, the Islanders have a negative goal differential, so do with that what you will. But hey, second in the Metro. It's not by accident. Although they have 48 points, they wouldn't be top 3 in the Atlantic. The Metro is definitely pretty weak this year. So looking at the playoffs, the Leafs, they have to get up there. If they do get up there, we're going to be facing off against the Red Wings if we're the second wild card. I like that matchup. Why not? I mean, it's Detroit. It's the first time in it. But of all seasons to be making playoff predictions, this ain't the season to be doing it. So we'll have to wait and see till we get closer to the day, closer to when the playoffs kick off, because, it's going to be a tough season. I'm looking forward to how it ends. And of course, looking forward to Toronto. Looking forward to tomorrow as we'll be on again live talking about the Carolina Panthers, talking about the game coming up against the Buccaneers and how scared I am for it. And so we'll see how the Leafs do moving forward. We'll be keeping up with them right here on the Callings Thode Network. So make sure you subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss any of our uploads or live streams. And, like the video if you did. So until next time, this is Curtis signing off for a little bit of Leafs talk.